Hey, what's up, fellow dragons? Jester Dragon here, and today I'm joined by
Whitney.
and Happy Halloween, everybody!
Happy Halloween!
We actually were out and did a little bit of trick or treating of our own. I went as this little guy. For those Pokemon aficionados, this is Riolu.
And I dressed as a kitty cat.
So today we are going to be talking about horror movies.
Yep.
You guys may not know this, but I'm a big horror aficionado.
Oh yeah, she is.
And it was awesome because what was it, about 2 years ago we went to go see Truth or Dare in theaters.
That freaking movie. When we went to see it, it was only the two of us and one other person.
The funny thing was, she was the one who wanted to go see it.
I was dumb and I went of my own free will.
And then
It was a good movie. It scared the crap out of me though. But it was good, I will give you that.
didn't you have a dream about a scenario from that movie right after it?
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know what Truth or Dare, so basically Truth or Dare,
Spoiler warnings for those who
Yes.
have yet to see it.
okay. Well, I can say this without actually like giving anything away. But Truth or Dare basically is a horror movie. It centers around this girl, her name is Olivia, and it centers around Olivia and her 5 friends. So basically Olivia and her 5 friends take a trip to Mexico for spring break.
And they get tricked by a guy they met at a random bar
Yeah,
into going to this old abandoned
church.
No, it would be
Or it was a monastery or something.
no,
Or
convent.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
convent.
yeah, yeah. But basically,
And he tricked them into playing this game there.
yeah, Truth or Dare, and basically, so everyone goes around and takes their turn. So then it's Carter's turn, the guy who they met at the bar. And so one of Olivia's friends asks Carter, "Okay, Carter, Truth or Dare?" And he says, "Truth." And she says, "So what are your intentions with our sweet Olivia?" And he said, "Well, I needed someone who was naive and gullible enough to come up here with me. And when I saw Olivia and how nice she was, I knew she was the perfect target.
Yeah,
And
because
she had a lot of, and because she had a lot of friends. And the reason I brought you guys up here is because I'm okay with strangers dying if it means that I can live." And then he just walks off. And Olivia goes after him, and she goes, "What the hell?" And he goes, "The game is real. The game is real. Tell the truth or you die. Do the dare or you die. Refuse to play and you die."
basically it's a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
And basically we find out that he specifically had to seek them out because that was his dare.
Well, that was the only way his turn would get, like, that it would be longer until his next turn. Is if he got more friends to play.
And now, granted, I know most of you would probably rather do truths because you find out later on that a lot of these dares have deadly consequences.
Well, the truth has bad consequences, too.
Yeah, but not as bad as dare.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we find out that the people who played the game, who started this game, which was Carter's group, did a rule where it was two truths and a dare.
So basically, if 2 people picked truth, the next person had to pick a dare. Because they thought it would be more fun that way.
Well, 2 truths in a row, I believe.
Yeah, if 2 people picked truth, if 2 people in a row picked truth, the next person had to do a dare because they figured it would be more fun that way. Idiots.
So, needless to say, the movie revolves around this group of friends slowly but surely succumbing to
The game, basically.
either because they refused to play or did a dare and it turned catastrophic.
Or they didn't tell the truth.
Yes, because if you lie, if you do the truth,
If you lie, Tell the truth or you die. Do the dare or you die. Refuse to play, you die.
Anyway, on to the dream you ended up having.
Okay, so basically, okay. So let me explain first off before I actually tell you guys what the dream is. So, because it involves what happens in the movie. So basically, whenever it's the next person's turn, and actually this is perfect because we have spooky Halloween music playing in the background. But anyway,
Or dare.
what happens is, so whenever it's the next person's turn, seeing things, and people around them who ask, it can come from anyone and it can come at any time. But when it comes, the person who asks, they get these really wide eyes and these really wide smiles, and they just look at you with this crazy look on their face and they say,
Truth or dare.
And so basically, I had a nightmare where, like, all of my family and all of my friends were just around me in a circle with that freaking crazy look on their face, and they kept asking me truth or dare, and I just kept saying, go away.
That's the thing. If you ignore the voices, more and more people start to
They
do
surround you.
and it becomes more insistent. Truth or dare.
Truth
or dare. Truth or dare.
But no, they just started like closing in on me. And I'm also a very claustrophobic person. Like I don't do well in small spaces, and which made it even freakier. But like they just kept closing in on me. Like they were around me in a circle, and they just kept getting closer and closer and closer until I woke up screaming. I had a bad time. It was a bad time, y'all.
Again, it was funny because she was the one whose idea it was to see the movie in the first place.
It was an awesome movie. Don't get me wrong. It was an awesome movie. It just scared the shit out of me.
And it was funny that year, a few months prior to us seeing Truth or Dare, she and I, for my birthday, watched Happy Death Day.
I loved Happy Death Day.
It was funny because while we were watching, we figured out who the killer was.
We literally had names of suspects that we had written down, and we're like, okay, yep, tally mark for her.
If I remember correctly, wasn't my first guess the one who actually was the culprit? Because, again, and another spoiler.
I think you suspected Carter at first.
So, for another spoiler warning, for Happy Death Day, for those who haven't seen it.
Spoiler warning for all these movies, let's just say that.
Yes, the killer ended up being
her roommate.
Yeah, ended up being her roommate. But I remember I was very highly suspective of her.
Yeah, I think we
You suspected the sorority leader. I remember that.
Yeah, and I think we both kind of everybody had a little bit of suspiciousness to them. We had a freaking to show you guys how in depth we were in this and how invested we were. We made a freaking list. Like we wrote suspects in big letters at the top of a piece of paper, and we wrote down all every person on our suspect list. And when they would do something that made us even more suspicious of them, we'd put a tally mark by their name. And then we looked at the end and we were like, I think we were wrong.
Another horror movie franchise that I really like is the Final Destination movies.
Oh, I love Final Destination. Oh my gosh.
What I like so much about them is the fact that it's stuff that could actually happen in real life. And there isn't some stereotypical killer coming out to kill you. It's literally death stalking these people and killing them in these weird ways.
Because basically what happens is one person, the main character, has these premonitions. And they have a premonition of a catastrophe that happens.
And they save a group of people.
Yeah, they basically freak out and a group of people follow them. But then that throws off because apparently death has a design and you can't escape death.
And when these people have these premonitions and stop all these people from dying, it
it throws the whole list out of whack. And so basically, death in this movie is coming back and tying up the loose ends and killing these survivors in the order they would have been killed.
Or in some of them, the reverse order.
Actually, in the second movie, it turns out that
the first movie were definitely connected because you find out in the halfway through the second movie that all these people that survived because of the main girl's premonition in the second movie, they were all supposed to have died during events that happened in the first one.
Yeah, because like one woman was supposed to go to a conference in like a place where a gas leak happened. However, what stopped her was the girl in the first movie who got hit by a bus. The woman was on that bus, and then the other guy, he was supposed to
go to one school, but
he went to the other because the teacher who was supposed to die on Flight 180
died.
And so he came to replace her.
The police officer in the second one would have died in a shootout with his partner, but he had to scrape up a kid who got killed by a train.
Well, he got killed by a flying piece of metal off the train. Billy.
Well, it was on the tracks, but
yeah. And then
the
pothead, he
was supposed to go to a thing in Paris.
Yeah, he was supposed to. I think he was supposed to. I forget what was supposed to happen to him, but I think he would have gotten mugged or something. But something stopped him, and he saw.
It was the sign that.
Yeah, or maybe that's why. That's how he would have died. I don't know. I forget how.
Well, he was supposed to be in the area, but he didn't because he heard.
Yeah, he heard the sound of the sign falling.
And
he watched a kid get hit by a sign.
The main character in the second movie was supposed to have died in a car mugging that her mom died in, but she got distracted by the video footage of the Flight 180 thing. Or was it the... Oh, no, wait, it was, the main guy from the first one's read the news report about that, him dying in the tub, I think.
Oh, yeah, Todd dying, yeah. Because he was the first one to die.
Anyway, one thing that I really like about all the Final Destination movies is there's never a similar death that's replicated in all of the series. They're all original deaths.
And there's 5 movies.
And they incorporate new quirks. Like, the second one incorporated working backwards. The third one incorporated the picture thing.
Yeah, and also, the second one is where you find out that you can make death start over by adding a new life.
Yes.
Like, a life that was never supposed to be a part of death's design.
I don't think there was anything... I don't recall anything... in the fourth... No.
In the second movie, originally they thought a woman who was pregnant was in the car wreck, and so they were trying to protect her till she had her baby. However, they figured out that she was never supposed to be in the pileup to begin with. And so basically what happened is the girl basically drove an ambulance into the water.
She basically forced herself to drown, so they had to
resuscitate her.
They didn't add anything new in the fourth one, but in the fifth one, they incorporated the whole, if you kill someone, you
get their life.
Well, what would have remained of their life had they not been killed.
Yeah.
And what was beautiful about it is 5 is technically a prequel, because at the very end, during the thing that basically kills the final people, they were on Flight 180.
They were on Flight 180. Like, they saw Alex freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, you see Alex Downing, the main character of the first movie, freaking out.
Yeah. And them taking
saying,
them off the
plane. I need to get off this plane. I need to get off this plane. It's gonna crash.
And honestly, there's only one movie where the final 2 people who survived actually live in the post-accident sequence, because there's always some sort of, like, post-accident sequence that kills off the rest at the end of the movies. And that's the second movie.
Actually, they died. Well, okay,
No.
you didn't see it.
Nope, they didn't die. They didn't die.
They died in a wood chipper accident. There was a news report in the next one. They died in a freak wood chipper accident, and then Alex Downing died from a falling brick.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, because if you that's the thing. It's like these
Or at
little
least
details.
the police officer would have, because
Yeah.
the girl actually, her life got renewed by.
Well, I mean, because that's the thing. They show this report, and actually, you find out about both of these deaths, like all three of these deaths, from newspapers. But one was when the main character, Kelly, I think is her name, or no, Kimberly is her name. When she goes to visit Clear, she tells her
There
how
was
Alex
a-
died, and there was a newspaper article that she had hanging up on the wall that said he died
Now,
from falling brick.
now I knew about that one. I always thought that the police officer in Kimberly survived.
No, yeah, because I think it's in the next movie that there's also another, like, you see a clip of a newspaper where it said it had both the pictures, and it said they died in a freak wood chipper accident.
Oh, you're talking about when.
It's snowing. Not a lot, but it's snow.
Well, okay then.
Apparently, it's snowing
Yep.
here. Nice. But yeah, that must have been part of the things that the guy in the third one compiled when he compiled all these things with the pictures and the premonitions for his friend.
Yeah. No.
I'll have to
is.
rewatch 3 and really pay attention to that.
You
then.
have the whole.
Yes, I own all 5 movies, and I've seen them all several times.
I need to get that.
I'm not ashamed.
I need to get that from Walmart. Yeah, but yeah. I
Sorry,
forget
my
which
mom needed something.
You're right. Yeah, but I forget which movie it was in, but in one of the next movies, I think it's in the third movie, they pull up an article where it said that Kimberly and the police officer both died in a wood chipper accident.
It would have had to been the third one.
I think it was the third one when they were compiling.
Because in the fourth one,
Yeah.
they didn't do any sort of extensive research like that.
The
But
fourth one was the racetrack one.
yes, in the first
And
one,
then the fifth one was the one on the bridge.
the first one was the premonition accident, was the Flight 180. The
Yep.
second one was a giant pileup that killed a bunch of people.
Third one was a roller coaster accident. And
Yep,
then the
a
fourth one-
carnival roller coaster
Yeah,
accident.
carnival roll. Yeah. Okay, never get on a roller coaster at a state fair, ever, or like a carnival ever, because you know what? They constantly move those things and put them together. They never stay in one place.
Yes.
They are dangerous.
Yes.
Like, okay, now that's different from ones that like are at an amusement park.
Yes, because at amusement parks,
stay
they're
in
anchored in
place.
one spot year round.
yeah, they're anchored and there's nothing structural. Like they are structurally sound.
Oh, perfect example of that. If you go to places like Cedar Point, which would be near where we live,
Yeah.
at the top of their high roller coasters, they have sensors, and if the winds get up above a certain speed, they shut the rides down like that.
You know what's really funny? My brother thought one of the rides was missing a bolt. And it was Steel Vengeance.
Which I've yet to be on that one.
It's so much fun. I've been on it several times.
Wasn't that the one we tried to go to over the summer, but it was closed?
Lame. But no, my brother thought that he thought that one of the places on the roller coaster was missing a bolt. I don't think that's true, but I didn't see what he saw. But anyway, I said if that is true, hopefully this doesn't turn into Final Destination 3. Like, 'cause that'd be scary. I'm like, we're all gonna die.
I actually have a funny story of the last time I was at Cedar Point, which was over the summer.
Oh.
When I went with my sister and her family, we were in line for the Valraven,
I love that ride.
and I actually watched them move a piece of the track to change one of the cars.
They do that on Millennium Force too.
Anyway, The fourth one was at a racetrack, like she mentioned, and the fifth one,
Was on a bridge.
yes, it was a group of people from some sort of company, and they were going on a company retreat that was mandatory, and there was a bridge that was being worked on, and
It collapsed, basically.
I have no problem watching any of the deaths in the Final Destination movies except for one in Final Destination 5. And that is the nail scene where the girl steps on the nail. One of the guys and one of the girls, the one girl who died, she was a gymnast. And the one guy was her handler, and this one girl was on the
The gymnast one? Oh!
and one of the nails from the raft from up in the fan fell down and landed on the balance beam, and the girl who inevitably caused the death of the girl who died, she stepped on a nail, fell off the balance beam, and knocked over that chalk stuff that they put on their hands so they don't slip.
Yeah. Because your hands can get really, really sweaty, and so gymnasts will, like, put this, like, chalk stuff on their hands before they go on a beam. And so basically this girl was, like swinging around on the bar.
Uneven bars.
On the bars, yeah. And so the girl on the balance beam
Steps on a nail.
falls over, hits the chalk, and a fan is blowing to keep the cool in there. And
The reason there was a fan so close to the chalk was because the air conditioning was not working.
Yeah, and so basically she falls over, hits the chalk, it blows in this girl's face so she can't see, and her hands slip, and
She's in the middle of one of her revolutions. She goes flying off, and
yeah,
but
it's not pretty.
I have no problem watching any of the scenes except for the scene where the girl steps on the nail. So anytime that scene comes up, I have to either look away or close my eyes because I cannot watch it. So, which of the Final Destination movies would you have to say is your favorite?
Yeah, okay, you know what? I love all of them. I can never choose. I like the first three. I think the first three are my favorite. But the one that, you know what the death I have trouble watching is?
What?
Okay, I shouldn't say I have trouble watching, but like, kind of maybe like.
Okay.
Was the one where so it was this couple who was working in a hardware store.
The nail scene. Oh my god.
Okay, so what happened is, so the main character in the third movie, she intervened because basically it's where this couple was supposed to die, like this gothic couple, and they both work in a hardware store, and so basically the guy in the guy
specifically
in the couple,
the hardware store warehouse.
yeah. But the guy was supposed to die first, and then the girl. So basically, the girl her name is Wendy, I think. Yeah, Wendy. Wendy is her name. She intervened and saved him because she was able to figure it out. But she intervened and saved him.
No, I think her name was Whitney. It might have been Whitney.
I think it was Wendy. I'm pretty sure it was Wendy. Sometimes when you say Wendy, it sounds like Whitney.
Anyway,
But anyway, so we'll just call her the main character because I can't
Final
remember her
Girl.
name.
We'll just call her Final Girl.
Final Destination 3 girl, the main character.
Well,
so she saved the guy. She intervened and saved his life. So he's at the bottom of death's list. So then it moved on to the girl. So she had slipped on some cleaner that fell, and she fell backwards, and there was a nail gun that was behind her, and she hit it, and
it went bam, 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 bam,
bam. It hit nails into her head, into her skull, and she died.
Oh, and she twitched. She twitched.
Oh, that, like, okay, I'm okay with gore. Like, it takes a lot to make me squirm.
Yes.
But,
Same
I
for me.
mean-
Like I said, I have no problem watching any of the gore scenes
It's just
except for the nail scene in the
it
fifth
just
movie.
disturbed me. Like, it wasn't even the fact that I had to look away. It was just that it was disturbing. Like, that's a terrible way to go.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Another horror franchise. Well, for me, for Final Destination, my favorite's a tie between 2 and 4 because they're both really good. Another one of my favorite horror movie franchises is the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Oh, yeah, good old Freddy Krueger.
It's funny. I remember the first time before she and I went to ColossalCon, we were just chilling in my basement, and she actually, and it shocked me when she asked this, she wanted to watch the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
I'd heard a lot about it, and I wanted to see it. I'm like, I want to know what all the hype is about. So.
Honestly, the first one's really good. The second one's good.
Yeah.
Some of them are just weird. It's a fun series.
What gets me is the song that those little freaking kids sing.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab a crucifix. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
Basically, they're telling you how to defeat Freddy because basically he's a spirit that comes to you and haunts people in their dreams. And when he kills you in your dream, he kills you in real life.
Yeah. One of my favorite of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies with Freddy Krueger in it is Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th.
Okay, so here's one thing that I have contemplated, and I know my answer. I'm gonna ask you guys yours and have you comment your answer down below. Who do you think is scarier, Freddy or Jason? For me, I would have to say Freddy, because it's like everyone has to sleep, and
You have to sleep to function.
literally the main issue for the kids in any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies is sleeping. In fact, they invented this thing called these caffeine pills in the movie that these kids end up taking or drinking a lot of coffee to
Stay
keep-
awake.
and they eventually always end up crashing.
Yeah, because with any high, whether it be a caffeine high or a sugar high,
You're gonna crash.
you crash, and you crash hard.
So I would have to say I would be more scared of Freddy
Yeah.
for the simple fact that unlike with Jason where you can run away from him, Freddy you cannot, because Freddy is a nightmare monster. He lives in the dreamscape. That is his home territory.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He can do anything in your dreams. Like,
Yeah.
in the world of... Okay. You know,
In the dream world, there
there's
is no
logic.
limitation.
There's no logic.
There's no logic and no limitation.
Yeah. The only limit is your imagination. Which can run wild. A lot.
One of the most iconic scenes I always think about when I think of one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies is it's the phone scene in the first movie where the girl dozes off and her phone rings and Freddy goes, "I'm your boyfriend now." And he
Oh, yeah, that's right.
oh, where he literally starts licking her through the receiver.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Wasn't that when she was trying to keep her boyfriend awake?
She had dozed off. He had dozed off. He was supposed
Oh,
to.
no. Oh, no, he was supposed to
He was
wake
supposed.
her up, I think.
No,
Oh.
that was earlier in the movie. He had gone back. She tried to call to make sure he was okay,
Oh, yeah, because they were both trying to call each other to make sure they were awake.
and
And yeah.
he fell asleep. Freddy killed him, which that one was kind of the weakest kill in that movie, in my opinion, because literally he just pulled the guy down into the bed and then a fountain of blood. Very boring.
Yeah.
But then with the final girl for that movie, after he killed her boyfriend, took in her dreamscape, took control of her phone and went, "I'm your boyfriend now." Blah, blah, blah. And she throws the receiver for the phone away,
Uh-huh.
and you just see his tongue waggling out of the bottom part of the receiver. Very gross. But a very iconic part of that movie.
Yeah.
And sadly, her mom ends up being killed by Freddy as well.
I couldn't tell if that was real or not.
Oh yeah, her mom died. He killed her mom. Because remember, they brought specifically her character back in the...
Wait a minute. I thought that if... Wait a minute. Wait. I thought he could only kill you in your dream. Like, I didn't know he could kill other people. Like, if her mom wasn't asleep, I don't know how he could kill her mom. I thought he just killed her mom in her dream. I didn't know he actually killed her.
He killed her. Yep.
I did not know he could do that.
Yep.
How is that even possible?
It's Freddy freaking Krueger.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, touche. Touche. Yeah. You see why we say Freddy's the scariest?
Yeah,
you see why?
Because at least with Jason, you run far enough away, he can't find you. He'll give up the chase.
If you make it hard for him, he'll just give up.
Honestly, he's content with just staying in Camp Crystal Lake.
You can't run from Freddy though, cause he's in your head. Like, that's the thing. That's the worst part. That's the best and worst part about your dreams, is basically when cause
You can
have
do
the best,
anything.
well, yeah, you can have the best dreams. Like the fact that you can do practically anything in your dreams is both a gift and a curse, because one, you can have an awesome dream where like you have superpowers and you can fly, but it can also, when you have a nightmare, it can be the hell inside your head.
Oh yeah, there have been times where I've like had a nightmare. I won't remember it, but I'll kind of like jerk in bed and like,
Oh,
and I'll just let go.
oh, tell him about the one experience you had when you saw that thing.
Oh. Okay, so now we're
Because I'm
gonna...
pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if this is a dream or not. Because I mean, like from what she told me, it sounded like it. But
Okay,
tell him
so
about that.
Okay, so story time. Getting away from horror movies for a brief respite. I was about 3 or 4 at the time. It was the middle of the night, and I remember waking up
This
and
story still freaks me out every time
and
she
hearing
tells it.
this thump, thump, thump. Go outside. So being naturally curious, I get up, go over to my window, climb on top of my toy box, and I see this giant fluorescent green golem-shaped creature walking down my street. And I don't know why, but I just felt like it was coming after me. And I remember it looking at me, and then the next thing I know, I'm in my bed.
You said you woke up the next morning, right?
Yeah, the next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in bed. I don't remember going back to my bed.
She doesn't remember anything after that.
I do know I woke up, though.
But between when she saw it and when she woke up, we don't know what happened.
I've also seen a ghost with glowing red eyes at a friend of mine's house when I was younger.
Oh my gosh, like she's had some scary shit happen. Like, it's not fun. It's not even funny. Like,
Anyway, so back to horror movies.
mm-hmm.
What would you have to say is your favorite horror movie franchise?
Well, as crazy as it sounds, I did like Truth or Dare. I did like that movie.
Not a
But-
franchise, but it is a horror movie.
Well, yeah. Um. Hmm. I think the Final Destination ones and the Nightmare on Elm Street ones are the only franchises that I know. But as for movies in general, um, I would say another one of my another horror movie that I really really like is the movie Us. And basically, what Us is about, for those of you who haven't seen it, again, spoiler for all these movies, just so you know. But basically, it's about this girl, well, girl slash woman.
Technically, it's about the family.
Yeah. Basically, she. Well, what happened to this woman started a chain reaction, and so basically, when she was little, she got lost at this carnival on the beach, and she wanders into this house of mirrors, and
She meets her double.
because she basically she's like seeing her reflections and everything, and then she runs into this girl, this other girl in there, and like they had their backs to each other. But then when she turns around,
Can we demonstrate the scene real quick?
yeah. So basically, she's backing up. She's backing up like this, looking around, and then no, they had their backs to each other.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they had their backs to each other, and then she turns around. No. She turned. The other one stayed, so she turns around, and she thinks it's her reflection. But then she realizes she's facing her reflection. She's seeing her reflection's back, and then the reflection turns around. What she thinks is the reflection turns around, and it's her. It's a girl who looks exactly like her.
And then the next thing you see isn't it her?
No. You just see the horrified look on her face, and then it ends
Oh
there.
yeah, that's right. We don't find out about the
What happened till later. But anyway, but this girl from head to toe looked exactly like her, and then
Basically, what ended up happening is the government was making doubles of everybody.
so basically this is a world where everybody has an evil twin. Basically they have there's these people called the Tethered, where basically it is a copy of you. However, they live in this underground world.
But for
and-
whatever reason, they go through every single experience.
Yeah, they go through. So basically, there's the surface ones, so it's like us. But then there are our tethered selves. In the logic of this movie, there's us. So we are basically the surface versions of ourselves. But then we have a tethered version of ourselves, who's basically our evil twin, who lives in this underground world. And they go through every experience that we go through. However, theirs is slightly less pleasant. So, for example, to give you an example of the difference between what the surface self goes through and what the tethered self goes through, I think the tethered version of the main character explains it perfectly, because she's explains how the tethered and the surface beings are connected. So basically, she tells the story of the girl in the shadow. So basically, she says, once upon a time, there was a girl who had a shadow. And when the shadow ate, or when the girl ate, she got her food warm and tasty. However, when the shadow ate, she had to eat rabbit, raw and bloody. At Christmas, the girl would get wonderful toys, soft and cushy. However, the shadow, her toys were cold, were so sharp and cold, they'd cut her hands every time she tried to play with them. And then the girl met a prince and fell in love. But then the shadow met Abraham, the tethered version of the main character's husband. And she said it didn't matter if she loved him or not, because she was tethered to the girl's prince. And then she said, and then the girl had her first child, a beautiful baby girl. But the shadow gave birth to a little monster. Umbre was born laughing. And then she said, and then she had a second child. And they had to cut him out of her belly. It was a boy this time. They had to cut him out of her belly. But the shadow had to do it all herself. And they named him Pluto. He was born to love fire. Yeah, he's a pyro. Bear in mind. But basically,
And
this
the-
whole family meets their tethered selves. Because the tethered versions came to the surface.
And we later find out that the main woman, who we think for the majority of the movie was actually one of the Surface, but it turned out she was actually the Tethered all along.
Yeah, because basically when what happened in the House of Mirrors when the girl was little, it turns out that the Tethered version actually switched with the Surface version.
Yeah, and we find out that the whole reason that the quote-unquote tethered version had a raspy voice was because she got choked.
Okay, basically, so you remember how how I said she told the story of the girl in the shadow? So basically, when she told the story, she sounded like this.
Once upon a time, there was a girl, and the girl had a shadow.
Creepy as hell.
Brilliant acting, though.
Oh,
Brilliant
yeah.
acting.
Oh yeah, she scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
Means she
And then-
did her job.
You know what? I actually watched a behind the scenes thing of that movie, and they said that when the actress, because she had to play two different parts, she had to play herself and the tethered version.
They all did.
Yeah, they all did. But they said that they knew not to go near the actress when she was on her tethered version days.
Really?
Because she'd get into that mindset. She'd talk in that voice. Because she had a vocal coach who taught her how to put the voice where she needed it to. And she would get into the mindset and she would just act like that all day to get into the character. And they said her personality changed a little bit. Like she... Because of course she was trying to not be herself.
Right, because
But-
the whole point is they're pretty much the exact opposite.
Yeah, they're opposite. But, I mean... And basically, the tethered version were coming to the Surface to kill their Surface version.
Yeah, basically it started with
And take
this,
their place.
It started with this specific tethered family coming up and attacking the actual family first. And then all these other tethered
Because they
start
realized
coming.
they could come to the Surface. And so they did. But it wasn't until because like I said, the tethered version do whatever the Surface version does. They copy the movements and actions of the Surface version and the life proceedings of, like, they go through the timeline of what the Surface version does.
Yes.
So apparently in the House of Mirrors was where the two worlds meet in the middle, like the tethered and the Surface versions, or the tethered world and the Surface world meet in the middle. So when the main character walked into the House of Mirrors as a little girl, she and her tethered version came to the impasse where, like, to the connection between the two places. So that's why they were able to switch places. But until then, the tethered version didn't know she could escape.
Yes. And in order for her to, the original tethered to basically knock out the other girl to get to the Surface, she basically did.
She choked her.
Hence, and she choked.
She crushed her windpipe.
She choked her so much that her voice never recovered.
Like, she hit her right in, like, the larynx. The larynx. Because that's your vocal cord. Your trachea is your windpipe. But she basically hit her vocal cords, and her vocal cords were so screwed up that, they just never recovered, and she's had a raspy voice ever since. But, oh my god, it was such a good movie, though. It was so good. I wonder what our evil twins would be like.
I don't want to know.
I wonder what our tethered versions would be like.
I don't want to know. Because she can tell you, I can get downright creepy if I want to.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to know what my tethered version would do. Because, like, that's a scary thought, like an evil version of you. Like, an evil twin.
Now, I wouldn't mind meeting the tethered of, like, our serial killers and stuff, because that would mean that they'd be more inherently good. Or at least that's what the theory
guess.
that's what the theory would say anyway.
Well, it seems like, I mean, it seems like all the tethered in the movie are like pretty much like they live terrible lives down there. But I mean,
And
they- yeah,
apparently,
they're all screwed up.
and apparently, it's all under America that there are these like labyrinths of tunnels.
Yeah, because I think they were originally the Underground Railroad. Now that I think about it, because I think it mentioned something about that in the beginning, and I think that's what the tunnels were for.
I know in the beginning it mentioned the Hands Across America, and literally the last scene of this movie are all these tethered in these orange
They're all
jumpsuits
in the red jumpsuits, holding hands like this across
across America.
Well, across the world, actually, around the whole world. Like everywhere you would look, everywhere the camera would pan, you would just see all these people in red jumpsuits. Oh, and their weapon of choice is golden scissors. Yeah. No better way to die than by a pair of golden scissors, huh?
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, and I bought that movie. I own that movie. And I told her I like 5 years ago I would have been like, "Oh no, I would never ever watch a horror movie because like
I think I kind of helped warm her into the horror genre.
Well,
at least a little bit.
I mean, I've gotten to like that's the thing. I've had to kind of like Jedi mind trick myself because I have to like I tell myself like, "Hey, it's just a movie. They're just actors on a screen." And like this isn't really happening.
Yes. Alright guys, well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys all had a wonderful and very happy and spooky Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone!
Let us know down in the comments below what you guys did for Halloween, what your favorite horror movie is, and who do you think is more scary, Freddy or Jason?
Oh, it's Freddy all the way. It's totally Freddy. It's totally Freddy.
Alright guys, that's all the time we've got for today. If you haven't liked this video or subscribed to the channel, now'd be the time to do it. You can also follow me on my Twitter at Jess_the_dragon. That's all the time we've got for today. Just the Dragon, out.